What's going on, guys? It's Mercury and welcome back to a new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ranked battles video. For today's video, we're back to our regular format, and I'm going to be using a team that I made with a couple of off-meta Pokemon, namely Galarian Articuno. Now, this is a Pokemon that I really haven't seen used much on the ladder or even on Pokemon Showdown. It certainly didn't have any kind of showing at Worlds, but I'm excited to show you guys a team that makes use of it, and a couple other cool Pokemon that I really like. If you like Galarian Articuno as much as I do, make sure you leave a like and subscribe as well, or if you just like Pokemon videos and like seeing more of them, definitely leave a like and sub. It helps the channel out a lot, and I'll keep the content coming for you guys. So with that being said, we do always do a quick team breakdown before we get into the battles, but just check out the timestamp down below if you want to skip straight into the action, and thank you so much as always for watching. Let's get into the team analysis. Galarian Articuno is an interesting Pokemon. It gets access to both Trick Room and Tailwind, making it fairly versatile, and it gets a really good ability in competitive, which actually doubles your special attack if you get intimidated, or if you get any other kind of stat drop from like Icy Wind, for example. But being a Psychic type in this meta is really not a great thing, so you often will have to commit your Terra onto Articuno, because when you have things like Flutter Mane and Dark Urshifu, and even Rock Slides from Landorus and things like that in the meta, you're definitely going to be taking a lot of damage if you don't Terra with Articuno, or you might just get straight up knocked out. But we do have a signature move on Articuno here, Freezing Glare. It's basically just a Psychic type Ice Beam that has the same 10% chance to freeze the opponent, but the main appeal of Galarian Articuno here is setting up Trick Room for the team, and I wanted to kind of go with a different Trick Room setter instead of the typical ones like Cresselia, for example. But the other Pokemon that take advantage of Trick Room really well when they're supported by Articuno are, of course, Torkoal and Avalugg. So let's talk about Torkoal first. Torkoal is a Pokemon that you might want to consider bringing alongside Hisuian Typhlosion. You don't necessarily always need to play it under Trick Room, but it's definitely helpful to do so. And this Torkoal is kind of unique because it's just got fully defense EVs, like an HP defense and special defense, nothing in your special attack. So I know Torkoal doesn't already have really like the highest special attack stat, but you already do a pretty good amount of damage with like Overheat in the Sun, for example. And it is an eject pack Torkoal, so as soon as you get that Overheat off, you will be switched out. And I like this Torkoal set because it's pretty supportive. You have Terra Grass actually as well, and you even have things like Yawn and Helping Hand to further support your teammates. Yawn is super nice to force switches, and often Torkoal, the best partner for it is actually going to be Hisuian Typhlosion. Now you could go for something like Chi-Yu or even like Charizard, for example, but I wanted to give Typhlosion some love. I think it's a good Pokemon. It's definitely not the prime like fire type in the meta right now, but if you put a Choice Scarf on it, you're still doing a ton of damage with Eruption, and you could go for Choice Specs as well, for example, but I do like the Scarf on it because it speed stat really isn't the best. But yeah, you're typically going to be clicking like Eruption and Overheat and just going for Terra Fire, but there are certain scenarios where you will want to hit Shadow Ball or Extra Sensory, for example if you're up against Flutter Manes and Urshifus. But the other Pokemon that does great under Trick Room is Hisuian Avalugg. Now, I did actually have a Choice Band on this Hisuian Avalugg for the first two battles, but then I decided to switch it to a Life Orb because I like being able to actually switch my moves in the end game, and I feel like you've already got such a great attack stat that you don't necessarily need a Choice Band on this set, and the 10% drawback for the Life Orb recoil is really not all that important to Hisuian Avalugg, since you probably will be taking most physical hits pretty well, and most special hits will probably take you down pretty low, unless you have support from something like Light Screen, which we have on the Grimmsnarl. So Grimmsnarl, pretty standard set. Terra Poison is super nice. You could also go Terra Steel, for example, because you mainly just want to Terastalize to get rid of your Fairy weakness, and yeah, that's pretty much Grimmsnarl. And our final Pokemon here is going to be Landorus Therian. Now, this is a Rocky Helmet Terra Water set, which is definitely great into all the Rapid Strike Urshifus running around, because they will try and hit you with Surging Strikes, for example, and you can Terra Water, get around that, and if they do, you know, commit to that, they're actually going to be taking half their health, literally, from just hitting you 3 times with Rocky Helmet. But you will have to commit your Terra Water to that, so that's one thing to keep in mind. If you do have Landorus in the back, you might want to conserve your Terra on your other Pokemon and save it for Landorus. But this EV spread is really nice because you're able to live, I think, even like Choice Specs Terra Fairy Moonblast from Flutter Mane with just like a sliver of health. So I've definitely optimized the EVs on all of the Pokemon here, so I hope you guys will appreciate that. And question of the day, as always, what is your favorite off-meta strategy? For me personally, I mean, it would be something like this team. I always like using off-meta things, but if you have anything cool in the comments, definitely let me know down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the battles. Ooh, okay, so this seems like a pretty standard team. It's got like the Tornadus stuff with Chienpao and Heatran. Pretty strong team overall. How do we want to lead into this? I'm not really sure about going Torkoal Typhlosion, given that he has Heatran. I'm not sure I really want to set up Sunny Day like in this one, because it would activate the photosynthesis on his Flutter Mane. I am thinking, actually, does this Landorus have U-turn? I'm pretty sure we do, yeah, okay. So I'm thinking actually just to straight up lead Grimmsnarl plus Landorus. I feel like that should be okay. Maybe we can go into Articuno, and then probably Avalugg. It does do fairly well into his team. The only problem with Avalugg is we would have to go for Terra. But yeah, I really don't want to give him Sun in this matchup, so I think I'm going to go with this and see how it plays out. But I'm just trying to think what his lead typically might be with this type of team. It'd probably be something like Tornadus Chien-Pao, or maybe even Rillaboom Tornadus. So, if that's the case, it'll be nice to get an Intimidate off, potentially on his physical attackers. If he does go Chien-Pao, we would be able to switch out. But it's just going to be Heatran plus Tornadus. Okay, so, given that that's the case, Intimidate not going to do much for us, but we are able to set up potentially Light Screen here. Let's go for Light Screen, and then I'm thinking we just straight up U-turn. We could U-turn just for the switching advantage. Or we could just Stomping into the Heatran, but I'm thinking we just U-turn. We U-turn into Tornadus here. So I'm thinking he either wants to protect the Heatran right away, switch it out, or Terra. He probably doesn't want to risk potential Stomping Tantrum or Earthquake coming out from Landorus. Also, a lot of people do think that Landorus will be Scarfed, but mine actually isn't on this team, so that's definitely nice to have. And he does go for Terra on Heatran. Terra Grass, I'm assuming? Yeah, Terra Grass. Fair enough. Also why I didn't want to go for Stomping right off the bat. But we're going to be able to set up a Light Screen here. He's going to go for Taunt, but it does not work on Grimmsnarl because Prankster does not affect Pokemon that are Dark-type, which is sweet. So our opponent made a bit of a misplay on turn 1, but we're able to get a U-turn off for some decent damage into the Tornadus on the opponent's side. I assume he probably goes for Heat Wave, so we're going to go straight into Articuno here. And then he goes for Flash Cannon, actually, onto our Grimmsnarl, which is not ideal. Oh, but he is Life Orb. Yeah, it was like no wonder that did so much damage. Okay. If that's the case, we can go for Parting Shot here. And maybe just go for an Air Slash, I'm thinking. Because he might want to actually set up a, yeah, Tailwind. I could have gone for Trick Room, actually. That would have been perfect. But yeah, we're going to go for Parting Shot here. And then I think we can bring in Landorus. Because we don't want to bring in Avalugg, because he'd probably just be going for another Flash Cannon. That would, like, one-shot our Avalugg. There's no chance we would survive that, so we're going to bring in Landorus again. And just go for an Air Slash. Hopefully this does decent damage. Yeah, so Flash Cannon really doesn't do that much, and we're not even Assault Vested. Given that he is Life Orb, I'm not confident. Oh, we missed an Air Slash. I was going to say I'm not confident that he would survive an Air Slash, but with that, yeah, for sure he does. Okay, so does he want to Taunt? I think we should just go for Rock Slide here, given that he might Protect. And then we can go for a Trick Room, try and set it up. Oh, he goes for Sunny Day. Okay, so we're just going to see probably a Heat Wave coming out. Which is honestly fine by me, but he misses on Articuno, okay. Yep, and then Rock Slide almost actually KOs the Landorus, which is pretty good. Now we got a choice to make. We can go for another Rock Slide into an Air Slash. I just don't want to miss Air Slash, you know? Okay, let's go for Rock Slide, and then we can go for Air Slash. I can't believe we missed a 5% Air Slash. That is so unfortunate, but it's been happening to me a lot lately, and it's not fun. Okay, so he goes for Taunt, which is fine. We already got our Trick Room up, which is perfect. Rock Slide comes out, KOs Landorus. Now we also have the potential for a Flinch here, which is good, and then we're set up fairly well for the endgame, so yeah, I definitely like the position that we're in. So we go for Air Slash, and it does pick up KO on Landorus, which is perfect. So
Given that he has Tailwind up, I'm pretty sure we would be outspeeding everything under Trick Room. Potentially even a Moongus, although I'm not sure about that. No, I think a Moongus is like half as slow as Landorus. Or less than half, I mean. So, let's see what he goes for. He goes for Flutter Mane. And Qianpao, okay. Okay, so he's Photosynthesis. Is he Speed or Special Attack? Oh, he's Special Attack, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so given that, we do still have Avalugg in the back. I'm thinking we can go for Rock Slide here to break the Sash. Yeah, we're just set up so well for this endgame. I mean, he could Protect as well with Qianpao, but I'm just going to Air Slash it. So he goes for Sucker Punch. Oh, it actually straight up one-shots our Articuno. Oh, it was a crit. Dude, we're getting so unlucky in this game. It's okay. It's okay. Rock Slide. Thankfully, we don't miss. I was going to say, if we missed, I'm mad. But we do get a flinch on Flutter Mane, so that's perfect. Alright. So sweet. I don't even think we need to use our Terra here, realistically. I mean, we're gonna Terra the Avalugg, because he probably wants to go for, like, Sacred Sword or something. Or we could... Nah, we don't need to Terra Landorus. Yeah, that Rock Slide flinch was perfect. Actually, I think the better play here is just to go for Stomping into Flutter Mane. And then we go for Terra and we go for Heavy Slam. Yeah, even with that Sucker Punch crit on the Articuno, which was incredibly unfortunate, we were still able to, I hope, pick up this win. So let's see. So we go for Grass Terra here. Hisuian Avalugg is so strong, man. I think that I kind of wish we had gotten to use it a little bit earlier in the battle, but it's a great endgame Pokemon. So he goes for Protect. Oh, does he just double Protect here? Nope, he went for Sucker Punch on the Landorus, and it KOs. Okay. But we do get the Rocky Helmet damage. And then we still have... We're going to pick up the KO and Qianpao, and then we still have, what is it called, Grimmsnarl on the back. And yeah, I think it's one more turn of Trick Room, right? Should be. So we definitely positioned our Pokemon fairly well in the end game. So that now we can just go for Spirit Break. We can go for Heavy Slam. And that should seal up the game. So perfect. Pretty good first game, honestly. Super unfortunate that we missed an Air Slash, which is 5%, and then we got Critical Hit on a Sucker Punch, which just one-shotted our Articuno. And yeah, that really didn't fare very well for us for the rest of the game. But like games like this will happen sometimes, and there's not really much you can do about it. You just kind of gotta laugh it off and move on. But yeah, overall, great first game. I'm really glad that we got to use this team this way, and I think it was a good adaptation to not bring like Torkoal as well, or Typhlosion for that matter, because he did end up bringing the Heatran. And given that my opponent showed their hand and like Terra'd into Grass with the Heatran on turn 1, I think we were in a great spot like going forward. I kind of wanted to go for a U-turn right off the bat into the Heatran, thinking that he would Grass Terra, but I was thinking like, no, let's just go for the safe U-turn into the Tornadus, and it definitely worked out, so I'm super happy with how that actually went in the end game. Alright, this looks like... Oh, I was going to say it looks like a Reg C team, but he's got Iron Hands, Arcanine, Dragonite, Gyarados, Scizor, and Urshifu. Okay, so given that a lot of his team... Actually, he's got two Pokemon that potentially have Water-type moves in probably Gyarados and Urshifu. I guess we don't know if it's Single Strike or Rapid Strike, but I guess we could go Torkoal plus Typhlosion straight up to lead here. Feels fairly safe into what he has. And then, do we want to go Grimmsnarl in the back? Yeah, I think we just want to go Grimmsnarl in the back, plus we don't really want to give him Trick Room in this matchup. Yeah, let's go for this lead here. So I'm thinking turn 1 we could just straight up send it and go for like Helping Hand Eruption. But I guess we're going to have to judge and see like what the better play is to make there. I could see him leading Iron Hands into this matchup and potentially going for Terra Water. But yeah, we are Choice Scarf, I believe, with the Typhlosion, so We're not going to be doing as much damage as choice specs, but we will be outspeeding everything. So it's going to be Gyarados plus Urshifu. Oh, it's actually single strike. Perfect. Okay. So I'm wondering if he goes for Terra Dark, Sucker Punch. Potentially. Torkoal actually gets switched out right away. Which is kind of funny. I didn't expect that. Let's go for Grimmsnarl here. Okay, so what's our turn 1 play? I'm thinking, do we need to set up a screen? Or should we just go for Spirit Break? Yeah, Torkoal's not really in the greatest spot. Or sorry, Typhlosion. I think we go for Spirit Break here, and then we go for... We could just do the Torkoal switch, potentially. Yeah, let's go for that. I want to play it a little bit safe here. The only thing I'm scared of is I know he can have, like, Poison Jab or potentially... Oh, I went for Wicked Blow, okay. I was gonna say, I know he could have Poison Jab or Iron Head, potentially. Oh, Whirlpool. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, okay, Torkoal gets trapped in, but then we go for Spirit Break. Does this KO? It does. It just straight up KOs Urshifu. Perfect. So that's kind of what we wanted here. You know what, though? If we had been able to keep that Eject Pack on Torkoal, we actually could have switched it out. Switched it out of the Whirlpool pressure. But, yeah, unfortunately we led with Torkoal and then it got intimidated like turn 1, so that's okay. That's really interesting. Whirlpool. I'm thinking we just go into Landorus. Oh, actually, we can't go into Landorus for Torkoal. I guess we just try and set up a Reflect here, and then Torkoal... We could Protect here, just to hopefully not get faked out. Yeah, I don't want to get like faked out and then KO'd, so let's go for a Protect here. Let's see who he fake outs into. Probably into the Grimmsnarl if I had to guess. Yeah. That's totally fine though. Yeah, he was just trying to pick up the KO on Torkoal. Good thing is we don't really need Torkoal like for the end game, but we'll see if we can make it work. I think a Waterfall would KO at this range. Gyarados is fairly strong, but if we set up a Reflect, maybe not. We can go for a Yawn. Into... Who do we want to Yawn? Let's actually Yawn the Iron Hands. So we go for Reflect. We'll see. Maybe Waterfall doesn't KO with the Reflect up. We don't really need Torkoal, but... Yeah, it actually doesn't KO. Perfect. Like, we will go down to Whirlpool damage, but... Oh, Force Palm. Interesting. Okay, so Whirlpool should KO Torkoal. Bring in Typhlosion here. Now I'm just wondering if it's time to set up the Eruption, or go for the Eruption. Who else did he have in the back? He had Arcanine, he had Scizor. I don't think he has a great switch in. But I think here we can Spirit Break this slot, and then maybe go for Terrify or Eruption. Should do a lot of damage into Gyarados as well. And then potentially we can switch out the Typhlosion like later, depending on what he has. Okay, so it's going to be Dragonite, so this is actually pretty good. We'd be breaking a multi-scale, doing a lot of damage. Terra Fire Eruption in the Sun. And unfortunately we don't have the Helping Hand boost or Choice Specs. But this should still do a lot of damage. Like, yes, I know it's a double resisted hit, but this should do a lot of damage. Let's see. No Protect or anything from the Gyarados, which is good. Eruption will do... Yeah, it did a fair amount. And he went for Whirlpool. Okay, actually, this is kind of bad. I thought he would just go for a Waterfall. Okay, Spirit Break comes out. Oh, he's Weakness Policy, okay. Do we have Reflect Up? I think we do. Yeah, we do, okay. Oh, this is actually a pretty bad spot. My opponent is positioned, like, super well in this endgame. I mean, the good thing is we can guarantee a KO onto Dragonite here by going for Spirit Break plus the Eruption. So we can't switch out Torkoal, right? Or we can't switch out or Typhlosion. Yeah, we're bound. We're just gonna have to do this, yeah. Go for Eruption. We need to KO Dragonite this turn. Okay, he did have Protect, that's kind of interesting. Oh, it's Aqua Jet. That didn't do as much as I thought, which is good. Okay, maybe we're not positioned too bad for the end game. I'm hoping we can kind of make this work with the Landorus in the back. That was scary though. I thought he was going to go for Extreme Speed. And yeah, Spirit Break comes out. Who does he fake out here? Sun fades, unfortunately. Right, Gyarados' leftovers. We take more damage. That's a super interesting set though. Whirlpool, I've never seen that. This is the thing about playing close sheet though, like when you play on ladder and stuff, you really don't know what the opponents could have, so let me just double check how many screens we have left. We have 5 turns of screens. I forgot that we're actually not Heat Rock on the Torkoal. We could potentially, you know, swap that out, but that's fine for now. I think we can go for Parting Shot here. Parting Shot into the Iron Hands. And then, yeah, we have to go for Eruption here, unfortunately. He does go for Fake Out. Eruption's not going to be doing much. It's probably Assault Vest Hands as well. Yeah, it didn't do much damage. But it's totally okay. Oh, that was even a crit on the Iron Hands. So Waterfall comes out, gonna KO Typhlosion. Unfortunately, we didn't get put into range for Blaze to get the power boost, but that's totally okay. Now I think we might have to double the Landorus. Or sorry, not the Landorus, the Iron Hands. I wonder if he also has Ice Punch, because this opponent has been using like a lot of moves that you don't typically see. We are going to go for... Do I want a Rock Slide or do I want a Stomping? I think I want a Stomping Tantrum. Or actually, hang on. If we go for Spirit Break here... Rock Slide maybe if he's Terra Fire, but I don't see how Terra Fire would help him. I think we just want a Rock Slide. Gyarados might also protect, so... Yeah, he is going to Terra this turn, which is good because now he won't resist our Rock Slide. It's kind of a good thing we didn't go for Stomping Tantrum then. Oh, he's Terra Fighting. Ooh, this is bad. Does he protect Gyarados? He does not. I don't know, maybe we get a lucky flinch here in the end. No, it doesn't look like we will. Rocky Helmets. Spirit Break will come out and do very little. Oh, actually decent damage. And he goes for Drain Punch. Oh, that didn't do much at all. Okay, so I think we can still win this if we double up the... If we double up the hands here. Okay, so we're gonna go for Spirit Break into, I think, Stomping. Yeah, because Gyarados isn't as much of a threat as I thought it would be. So hopefully we're able to pick up the KO here onto Iron Hands. And Gyarados does protect, so yeah, this should just be over. I think he really thought that the Drain Punch was going to do like way more than it actually did. But unfortunately, no. Nice, so we're able to pick up the KO in hands there. Fighting Terra is interesting. Usually you want to Terra Iron Hands for like a defensive Terra, go for like Water or potentially Water or Fire or Grass or something. Those are usually the common Terras on hands. Even Flying could work, but you usually just want to get rid of your weaknesses, so... Yeah, we're just going to go for Rock Slide here, then pick up the KO. Well, the opponent's going to forfeit, but same end result. So overall, a great game. I'm super happy with how that went. And yeah, really interesting team from the opponent there. Him having Whirlpool was completely crazy. I've never seen that strategy on Gyarados. I've seen it with, like, Perish Trap teams, but yeah, you really don't see that, like, in Scarlet and Violet at least. So it's not the most common strategy, but it was cool. I mean, the opponent kind of made it work. But we were able to win in the end game anyway. Alright, so it looks like we're going up against interesting Decidueye is what we see here from the opponent. Regidrago, Chi-Yu, the Farigiraf, Cresselia, and Hisuian Arcanine as well. So I'm trying to think, how good is Typhlosion into this matchup? I mean, it seems decent. It's just, there's a couple things that I can't hit too well. So maybe we don't want to bring it necessarily. Is Intimidate decent into my opponent's team? Not really. I'd be okay to go for Annihilate plus the Articuno lead. Maybe bring... Actually, hang on, I was thinking... Yeah, actually, that could be decent. That could be decent. We can definitely bring this in the back. Along with Avalugg. Because we don't necessarily want to give him Sun, like for the Chi-Yu, for example, in case he brings it. And the Arcanine as well, so... Yeah, I think this is a fairly decent 4 that we can draft here. I'm a little worried about Decidueye because it's not even the Hisuian Decidueye, so I haven't seen this Pokemon, like, at all be used on the ladder, so I'm really not sure what it does. But we're going to try our best. We're going to try our best to figure it out, and, you know, this is how best of one goes, where, like, you don't know your opponent's sets, you don't have open team sheets, you don't necessarily know what kind of strategies they're going to be employing. So, that's totally fine, though. So... he's actually not... He's not gonna be the Intimidate on an Arcanine, okay. That being the case, I think we could go for a Reflect here. And then maybe go for a Protect here. Okay, so he's not going to Terra right off the bat. Reflect will be super important for this game because it seems like he has a decent amount of physical offense here. And he does go for Rock Slide, okay. That looks like it might be Choice Banded damage, given how much it did through the Reflect. So here I think we actually want to go for Parting Shot into Arcanine. Terra Trick Room, because we are Terra Steel. So we're going to be taking minimal damage from the Rock-type attacks. Decidueye is going to swap, no problem. He did go into Chi-Yu, okay. So obviously a little bit annoying now that we're going to be a Steel type with the Articuno, but yeah, we definitely have ways to counter our opponent's strategy here. So we're gonna go for, given that he has Tailwind up, we can set up our Trick Room, unless he goes for like a Hail Mary Flare Blitz. But even then, at -2, I think we would be able to survive with Articuno. I would hope. Although I think he is Choice Banded, like I was saying. So we're gonna get that off here, and then we have a choice here. We know he's probably gonna go for Rock Slide. Do we need to go into Landorus is my question. I think we just go into Avalugg. So it's like, yeah, he gets a Rock Slide off, but that, look at how little that did on a resisted hit. And then we get up our Trick Room here. So we know he's got Decidueye in the back. Who else did he have on this team? He had Regidrago. Okay, so it's not looking too bad for us. I think we're free to go for Rock Slide here. And maybe an Air Slash into Chi-Yu. Oh, not Trick Room. So we go for Rock Slide. And yeah, I think Air Slash should be okay. Just a little worried about the Chi-Yu surviving if he goes for a Terra, but that's kind of why I doubled up into it with the Air Slash, but he's not going to go for a Terra. Oh, and he actually does faint. Interesting. I really thought the Hisuian Arcanine was going to switch out. Let's see, maybe Air Slash picks up a KO here, and it does. Okay, perfect. So I think in the endgame we're set up fairly well here, given that our opponent set up a Tailwind, and then we were able to get the Trick Room up. And yeah, I actually swapped out the Choice Band on the Hisuian Avalugg from like the previous games that I played with this team for a Life Orb, which is pretty cool here because now we're going to be able to switch up our moves. So who is going to be the bigger threat to the rest of our team here? I don't think Decidueye is really that much of a threat. Huh. I think we could go for Ice Fang here, actually, and just maybe force him to Terra. Or we could just go for Rock Slide again, try and get flinches and stuff. Now, I think we want to go for this. And then go for an Air Slash. He's going to Terra this turn for sure. Let's see who he Terras. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be Regidrago, because Regidrago, yeah, you want to get rid of that Dragon typing. Oh! Never mind. He just went full out offensive Terra with the Dragon Terra, so... Oh, man. We get the Ice Fang off, though. Yeah, okay. Okay, that was perfect, yeah. That is insane. Dude, Mello with the 5 gifted community subs. What's up, buddy? Thank you. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, man. I appreciate you, though. Did we get a flinch? Oh, and we get a flinch. That is perfect. Okay, yeah, so this game is over. We're gonna get the Ice Fang off, and then another... We're gonna even just go for, like, Freezing Glare or something. That's hilarious, though. This game went absolutely perfect for us. Man. Yeah, I really think you should probably commit like a defensive Terra on Regidrago just because it's so frail if you don't. Despite having like a really high HP stat, its defenses are really not all that good. So, yeah, we were able to clean that up there, and worked out pretty well, believe it or not. I definitely think switching out the Choice Band for a Life Orb was a lot better on the Avalugg, because like, you're still doing a ton of damage even with Life Orb, but you're typically not going to be surviving too many like hits if they're super effective, for example. So, I mean, you might as well go for Life Orb. It's only 10% recoil, so it's really not that big of a commitment. But yeah, overall great game. Okay, so we got another Sun team. So we've got Torkoal, Hisuian, Lilligant, Tornadus, Landorus, Chi-Yu, and Fluttermane. That's pretty scary from our opponent. Bad thing is we don't have like a defensive Terra on the Articuno, so I'm not sure that's the best direction to go here. This is a scary team. Because he could just go like after you Eruption and stuff. So I think Grimmsnarl Landorus is probably the best lead for us. And then in the back bring these two. It depends on how heavily my opponent wants to lean into like using Sun with Torkoal. Although Tornadus could have Sunny Day as well, so... This just seems like a really strong team from the opponent, because he does have, like, Sun that can boost, obviously, Torkoal, Lilligant, Chi-Yu, and Fluttermane. Like, they all do really well in Sun. So, Even Landorus does pretty well in Sun, because like if you're going up against like a water type, for example, like Urshifu Rapid Strike, you're going to be taking less damage. And yeah, this is a scary team. Definitely kind of a bad matchup for us, but I think we're going to try and make it work. Interesting, he leads Lilligant without Torkoal. We trade Intimidates. See, it's a good thing we didn't lead Torkoal, because like we would have been switched out immediately, like due to Eject Pack. Think we can get up a Reflect here? We could go for Light Screen too. Because like we already did get the Intimidate, so I think we set up Light Screen here, and then maybe go for Rock Slide. It depends. Next turn, if he goes for like something like after you Eruption, like after getting in Torkoal. Let's see, he did go for U-turn. So like I'm guessing he brings in Torkoal here. So if he goes for like after you with Eruption, I think we should actually just maybe taunt the Lilligant. Like go for like a Terra and taunt the Lilligant. Oh, he did get a Sleep Powder off. It's pretty bad actually. So do we have a switch in here? We can switch in our own Torkoal. Like go for Parting Shot into his Torkoal. And I guess we could Terra and go for Rock Slide. Let me think though. We go for Parting Shot into Torkoal, we have Light Screen up, we Terra, and then we go for Rock Slide, I think is the play. Or we could Taunt. Now let's go for Rock Slide for now. We might not even wake up, so like, let's see if we can make this work. So we do Terra our Landorus into water to resist the Eruption. That's kind of bad though, because it leaves us vulnerable to Solar Blade, so hopefully you can go for that. Man, Hisui and Lilligant is so strong. He's also going to Terra here though. Probably just Terra Fire Torkoal. Like, after you Eruption seems like the right play. I really don't like facing this strategy, though. It's so annoying. It does so much damage, especially if you have Choice Specs on Torkoal. Like, there's really no good way to counter it unless you have Prankster Taunt. But we're going to Parting Shot, go into our own Torkoal. Let's see. Torkoal's at -1, and there's Light Screen. Oh, he went for Leaf Blade. Hopefully we wake up. We do wake up. And we get Rock Slide off, but we miss Lilligant. Okay, so I'm kind of okay with that. Like, the chip damage would have been nice, but we already broke his Sash, which is fine. Okay, cool. I think here we want to overheat the Lilligant. And like Landorus doesn't seem all that helpful anymore. Hang on, let me think. So we overheat Lilligant, and then we go into Typhlosion, because I do kind of want to conserve the Landorus for the end game, like for Intimidate cycling. So let's go into Typhlosion. If we can get rid of Lilligant this turn, that would be perfect. Like, yeah, we did have to commit our Terra, just so we wouldn't faint to the double up. I'm surprised he just went for Leaf Blade, though. I thought he was going to, like, Sleep Powder the other slot. It's always risky to switch when the opponent has, like, Spore and Sleep Powder, because, you know, he could just put you back to sleep. But Torkoal does protect here, perfect. We weren't trying to attack into that anyway, so... Leaf Blade comes out, not going to do, like, anything into our Typhlosion. And we do get an overheat off. Okay. Who's our fourth Pokemon? I think it was Grimmsnarl and Yeah, Landorus. Okay, so we've kind of shown our hand already, but that's fine. Now, do we want to bring in Grimmsnarl or do we want to bring in Landorus? Let's go Grimmsnarl. Let's go Grimmsnarl. In case he brings Flutter Mane. Alright, so who's he gonna bring? It's gonna be Flutter Mane, okay. Is the speed booster though, because that's important. He might be outspeeding our Typhlosion. It is speed booster, okay. Well, like, light screen is up, which is good. And we can potentially Parting Shot. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is he's probably going to outspeed us. But the question is, does he want to attack into Grimmsnarl or Typhlosion? He does have potentially a free Shadow Ball into us, so I don't want to switch out the Typhlosion slot. Let's go for Spirit Break on the Flutter Mane. We can just double the Flutter Mane here, I think. He's gonna swap Torkoal. Okay. Is Landorus coming out? Yep, Landorus coming out. Either way, we're gonna reduce the Flutter Mane's special attack or get probably a big hit. Okay, never mind. Unless he protects, that's fine. The protect is not ideal. This is a tough match. I do kind of want to get Landorus in here, so I think we go for Parting Shot, and then just make the same play and go for Shadow Ball. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to Parting Shot the Flutter Mane, reducing its special attack. I don't think we would survive a Shadow Ball regardless, but he might have gone for like Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast or something. Bring out Landorus. Just to get the Intimidate off. Okay, he did go for Gleam, so this is good. That Gleam did like nothing, and he's Life Orb too. Probably because of the light screen that we set up earlier. Perfect, and we do KO Flutter Mane. Okay, it was a critical hit, although, given that he was Speed Booster, I'm not sure that it mattered too much. Okay, unfortunately he does Earthquake to get the double KO here. This is kind of bad though, because now we just have Torkoal and the Grimmsnarl in the back, and neither of them really do that much damage. Sun does fade. He brings out his own Torkoal. It's definitely going to be a close game in the end here. Actually, let's see. Whichever Drought like activates first means that Torkoal is going to be faster. And I'm pretty sure it was his. Huh. Do we have both screens up? No, we just have light screen up. Okay. I think we're gonna have to yawn the Landorus and then go for a Reflect. Okay. Yeah, Torkoal protects anyway, so I guess we got this read right, which is good. Reflect should allow us to survive. And then the next turn we protect Torkoal, Landorus goes to sleep. He does Earthquake here. He's probably just Choice Scarf or something. Yeah, that Earthquake really didn't do much. We're gonna yawn Landorus. Okay, we protect the Torkoal. And then we just go for probably just a Spirit Break. Just to reduce his special attack. And we'll see what he goes for. It's gonna be a close game. This one's a little bit weird to play, like in the end. Oh, but he just, yeah, he has the Earthquake, so he's definitely like Choice Scarf or Choice Bandit or something. I'm guessing Choice Scarf, given that it didn't do that much damage, but now we're gonna reduce the Torkoal's special attack, which is perfect. He just went for Earth Power, so that's absolutely perfect. Okay, so bit of an awkward spot here because now he won't be KOing his own Torkoal. But we have to go for Overheat here. And then Spirit Break. Now, I guess we could have Spirit Break the Torkoal again to like really reduce his damage, but I do want to start getting a little bit of damage onto Landorus. Oh, and he yawns our own Torkoal, okay. Okay, but we don't miss Overheat, so this is good. We KO his Torkoal. And then I guess we could go for Helping Hand as well. I mean, we should be able to tie this up. How much did that Spirit Break do? Not that much. But like, we are at -2 now, and we're not really all that strong here. Also, we could miss Overheat, that's another thing to consider. But let's go for it anyway. Hopefully he stays asleep like as much as he can, or as much as possible. He does stay asleep here. We go for Spirit Break. I was considering Helping Hand, but I was like, nah, another Spirit Break should KO here anyway, so... Even Overheat, yeah, here should just pick up the KO. So a little bit like sloppy in the endgame, but we did make it work. We weren't able to like really pull off the strategy that we wanted, but my opponent had such threatening Pokemon, especially that Hisuian Lilligant, like on turn 1. So I think regardless, we were able to have a good game there, and we did get a little lucky with the sleep turns in the end there. But yeah, overall an awesome game, and I'm super happy that we were able to use Hisuian Typhlosion, even though it wasn't like, you know, spamming eruptions and overheats and things like that. But yeah, this Pokemon I think is definitely good. It's just a little overshadowed, even by things like Charizard, for example. But yeah, I definitely like the team that we have it on here, so hope you guys enjoyed that match.